Hello and welcome to Test Your Might, episode 111. Here, the premier debate show, Test Your Might, video game knowledge and shenanigans await you here tonight. Today we're going to be discussing a lot of Resident Evil, an Oreo themed Xbox, and much, much more. But if you are listening to us on a podcatcher of choice, make sure you leave us a review down below. Hit the like button if you like us, and subscribe on YouTube, the little bell notification, all the things you know about if you like what you hear tonight. We've got a few people here tonight. One, Sean, how are you doing tonight?
Hi, I'm great. I've been invigorated by our pre-show conversations.
That's the plan. And also we have the runner-up for a point 3 weeks in a row, Cicero, Stubby Stan, the Mafia Lord himself. How are you tonight? Are you ready?
I am also invigorated. I'm effervescent. I'm ready for everyone to say hi to their mother for me. Say happy St. Patty's Day to your mother for me.
All right. And I got a little bit of housekeeping tonight for you guys. One, we have the Master of Disguise favorite series episode. It should be out now. So if you didn't see that, it should be out. It's a shorter one, so enjoy the comical nature of that film as we review it here on What the Fun. And that's it. So not a lot of housekeeping today. We're going to do a small Last of Us check-in. We'll probably pull out an episode for everyone on a review of the season as a whole. But have you guys caught up? Are you watching it at all? Cicero, have you caught up? I know you've watched a few episodes.
I am three episodes away from completion.
Okay. Still feeling good about it.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to watch all of it. And then once I am done with all of it, I will have an opinion about everything that I have seen.
And Sean, have you watched any?
What a recommendation. Wow. No, I haven't.
All right. As for myself,
and there we go.
I'm done with the season and waiting for season 2, of course, like most people. Overall, still one of the best TV shows ever created. High praise. If you haven't seen it, it's all out now. So take that, week-long trial and binge it, and you won't regret that decision. It's very good. It's not as scary as you would think it would be. It's a lot more drama-based, and it's very good acting and really story-wise keeping true to the game and also doing its own thing at the same time. Very well done. All right, let's get into what have we been playing. Sean, let's go over to you first. What have you been playing recently?
Almost entirely Destiny 2. Partly because of the expansion and partly just because grad school. Yeah, it's the expansion. I like the expansion. I like hanging out with my friends more. Did not like the storytelling in the campaign itself, which is about half the storytelling that there is bad. The rest of it is actually pretty good. But what they tried to pack into like their campaign mode before you unlock the new abilities was like rushed, and like they tried to make you care about stuff that no one I play with has cared about what they want you to care about. So whoops. Yeah.
I've been hearing mixed things about that, so definitely glad to hear someone else say the same thing. Over to Cicero. What have you
on
been
better
playing?
News? Oh wait, hold up. I did have one other thing.
Whoa, go ahead.
Sorry, I started this morning. Chained Echoes, is that what it's called? It's like a RPG that was on Game Pass recently. It is a lot of fun. The writing's really good. There's like cool interactions with like it's a turn-based RPG, and like the turn-based fighting, there's like some cool interactions happening that are like kind of novel, at least for me. I've played a bunch of them, but I'm not like an expert by any means. But like 5 hours in, I'd definitely recommend it so far.
All right, Game Pass for you guys. Try that out if you like RPGs, turn-based strategy games. All right, Cicero, what have you been playing on your Virtual Boy or Nintendo DS or whatever?
Right, yes. Well, there's this game called Simon. I don't know if you guys have ever played that. There's a bunch of colors. Shout out to people, boom, boom, boom. I've been playing Work Simulator Pro, and that game really really annoys me. But it occupied a lot of my time. It's like it's in real time,
Ooh.
so you can't even like you can't speed it up or slow it down. You have to actually continue to play it, and you keep playing it until it tells you to stop, and not the other way around. Yeah, guys, I've been working a lot. But in my downtime, I have Marvel Snap time, so I play Marvel Snap. And I've played a little bit of Call of Duty. I was trying to get St. Patrick's Day guns. So there you go. That has been my week.
All right. As for myself, also Marvel snapping, enjoying, still struggling through all the sweats on the tail end of the season pass, kind of going through. I played Minecraft with my daughter as well. Usually do that every week. We took down the Ender Dragon this week. First time she's ever done it. So we went and did that and saw the title, the credit scene that plays, which is, big for her. And I let her get the final strike, of course, because that's what I do. And then I've been playing Castle Crumble, still on the iPhone, on the Apple Arcade. I practically beat the game. There's no more content for me to do. So every week they'll come out with like a little challenge or something. You could do that if you'd like. But for the most part, all the levels are gone and completed. I also played Call of Duty Warzone DMZ with the St. Patty's Day event going on. Was amazed to find all of the rivers green, like Chicago. Also, I didn't know at the time, but I saw a rainbow on the map, and I was talking to my buddy. I'm like, hey, you know what? Let's see if there's anything at the end of it. And there is. If you go to the end of the rainbow during the game, there is like 7 chests with gold and 4-leaf clovers on them.
Yes.
And you get like 100K to just exfo with if you want to take it with and split it up between the group. So doing one mission nets you like 40. You have to split that between 3 people. So 100 split and then just leave. You don't have to worry about nothing. And then I tried Valheim. This came to Game Pass. Valheim was a open world MMO kind of survival game set in Viking eras. It does not look the best. It doesn't. It just doesn't. It looks kind of oldie, but it's very fun. And I'm just doing a solo gameplay, just having fun, surviving, building stuff, and crafting stuff. So Valheim is free on Game Pass as well. And that's what I've been playing this week. So that's what we've been playing. If you want to let us know what you've been playing, right down there in the comments, let us know. And maybe we'll try those games that you've been playing. Are you guys ready for the namesake of the show? Test your might. It is time. All right.
You're going down, Sean. Respectfully.
Yeah, probably. We'll see.
All right. Well, on to the first debate. We'll see what happens. Speaking of Call of Duty, they went green with rainbows for St. Patty's Day. So if it is your job to pitch a future holiday event for Warzone to implicate into the game, this can be any holiday in the future. If you want to go back around the border and hit St. Patty's Day again, you can. But some future event that is different from what they've had. Cicero, you were on last week. Sean, I'll give the baton to you. Would you like to go first or second on this one?
I would love to see what holiday Cicero picks first.
Okay, and I do want to say if you guys steal each other's holiday, you can't use the same holiday across the board. All right, Cicero,
okay.
You have first dibs.
All right. Well, this holiday is celebrated but often overlooked. It's a holiday that has to share its time with another holiday-ish. It's not even a holiday. It's just a thing. And this holiday always has to share itself with this thing. That thing, of course, is grads. So, of course, I'm talking about dads, which means I'm talking about Father's Day. The next Call of Duty event should be for the most overlooked holiday, Father's Day.
Real talk. Sean, go ahead.
I just think Father's Day is so far in the future. I feel like you're skipping some really important holidays in the meantime. Not that like there should probably be a Father's Day event, but in the meantime, I think what we need to hit is I don't know if it's definitely not a proper holiday itself, but we should celebrate it. It's tax day, April 18th, everybody.
Okay. All right, we've got our days out. Cicero, Father's Day. These are good. These are unique. Why Father's Day and not tax day?
Well, I mean, listen, if you do poorly on tax day, you won't be able to afford the game. So you don't want to celebrate. Like, who's celebrating tax day? Right? Like, if you're waiting to the end, that means you probably got to pay, or you're worrying about stuff. You don't want to do that. You want to celebrate Father's Day, right? Listen, we're all here because of fathers, right? So we got to celebrate the day. And there's so many awesome things that they could do in Call of Duty that would allow you to have, like, imagine having a Maury Povich TM, you are not the father calling card. You could have number one dad charms for your guns as coffee mugs, or like terrible ties. They could be like a poorly drawn picture as like from your kid as a gift, as one of the things that you could get. So many things, like Kiss the Cook bibs for grill bibs for your camos. It just never stops.
All right, Sean, I can't wait to hear the rebuttal on this one. Why tax day?
Yeah. Okay, so you do have a point that many people don't celebrate tax day. Like, you don't even get the day off. Like, you don't for Father's Day either, but like it's on Sunday, so you do for, like, according to society. But we should change that. And I think that Call of Duty can help bring about that change. Like, so you're right, it can be a stressful time, but I think if you know that you have something to do on tax day, which is grind out your Call of Duty stuff, celebrate via the game, then one, it'll encourage people to get their stuff done on time, and two, get it done right. And then hopefully by the time the event comes along, they're ready to play, they're ready to spend some money, they're ready to get a lot of sick kills in a sick game. And I think that Call of Duty can help encourage this positive behavior and help remind us that, taxes can be a good thing. Like, the government, a lot of things that you pay taxes for help you out day to day, and are maybe the reasons that you are able to take the day to play Call of Duty at the end of it.
All right, Cicero, you're over there. Sean's taking the bigger picture for society as a whole. Go ahead. Yeah, it's up to you. What would you like to do with that?
What would I like to do with that? I'd like to ignore it. I mean, that's wonderful that he's trying to stay high. Listen, I'm trying to do what Activision knows what to do with Call of Duty, which is to have cool events that will make people want to spend money. So this event, because, right, like, you have the Maury Povich, you are the father, you are not the father, you have those calling cards. Like, you can have a whole Maury Povich section in the Call of Duty store, where people would spend $10 to have a camo that, or like a character that looks like Maury Povich, or something goofy going on. Like, there's so many things that you could do with this. Number one dad keychains. There's like, there's gonna be a skin for some of the guns that look like the paneling from the old station wagons that your grandfather would drive. And so you could get those skins. Like, it just writes itself. Father's Day, Call of Duty. It's awesome.
All right, Sean, before you rebuttal, what like Cicero added a few things that his holiday would add to the game cosmetically or whatever. What would your tax day do for the game? And then you can rebuttal after that.
Oh yeah, for sure. This is exactly where I was going to go next, because that is also an important part. What are you going to spend your money on? All the money that you now have, hopefully, because your return, which Activision knows, people get influx of money, and they're going to spend it all on all this stuff. Tax day is interesting because there's not a way to celebrate it yet. But you can also kind of default to other things that already exist. Like you can take anything from 4th of July, all the America stuff, slap it back onto that, and on top of that, you can just have a bunch of like things centered around like money itself. You can have like I don't really know what kind of cosmetics exist in Call of Duty anymore. I've been out of the game for too long, but you can have like banners or like skins or anything that's stuff like memes like bitch better have my money or something like that. You can have like things raining money. You can do a whole bunch of stuff along that lines in addition to like the normal like slap America on everything. You could have like skins or references to the politicians that you love or love to hate. That could be a fun thing to do. There's a lot of different availability of things that we could do with tax day, and again, you'll have a bunch of money hopefully coming in that you'll want to spend on frivolous things, because that's what people do. That's what I do.
All right, one more back and forth. Cicero, go ahead, and that's it.
All right. Well, so let's talk about the dad event. The dad event is going to be that you have to pick up different components to build a grill, and once you build that grill, the grill will have a special weapon inside of it. Oh. So that is going to be the special event, the Father's Day event that you'll find in DMZ.
Okay. Go ahead, Sean.
What are we doing here? I don't really have, like, again, I don't really know what kind of events you would have in there. So
you could just try to train wreck his grill or anything else if you'd like to take a swing.
Yeah, I think the only other time I've built things or like set things in Call of Duty, it's been like an explosive, and I just don't think you should sully the holiday by like conflating those two things. I think that's something people inevitably do. I don't want people thinking explosives and grill in the same place. Like that's horrifying. That's awful. It's anti-American even.
All right. Unique holidays for both parties here. I hate myself for doing this. Or do I? I'm gonna have to go with building a grill for Father's Day. Cicero, that was good. That was unique. It definitely tied in with the spirit of the holiday, and was definitely something that was fun for all ages for sure. Finding pieces, that's what Easter eggs used to be, and it works out in Call of Duty. Geez. Okay. Father's Day for the win. It's 1 point for Cicero. All right, on to the second debate topic. Okay. Resident Evil 4 Remake is looking to be a near perfect game. So what my question is, what is the next Capcom remake on the docket? But caveat here, the worst game will win. So obviously, you want to pick something that's not well known or something that didn't score highly previously, or just take something they did score highly on, make it terrible. It is up to you to do that for the remake. Sean, you lost that debate, so the ball is in your court. What would you like first or second on this one?
I'll start.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just going to go in order. Obviously, the next remake is going to be Resident Evil 5. But the issue is that, like, that game started for many reasons. What, like, a lot of Resident Evil fans see is, like, this years-long period of, like, decline for the series with that, 6, Umbrella Corps, a couple other spinoffs. And there's not a lot you can keep from the Resident Evil 5. And be like have an okay game that people aren't going to be mad about and also possibly even try to enjoy playing. So yeah, we'll still go back around to that. But Resident Evil 5 for sure.
Okay, Cicero, over to you.
So back in 1987, Capcom released an arcade game called Bionic Commando. Then in 1988, they released an NES game that was completely different from that game that was also called Bionic Commando. And both games were hits. But in 1992, the Bionic Commando not sequel came out on Game Boy. But then in 2008, on the Xbox, Bionic Commando made its return in Bionic Commando Rearmed, a remastered version of Bionic Commando. What we are going to do is make Bionic Commando Rearmed and Reloaded, a remake to the remake of Bionic Commando.
All right, we'll start it there. Lots of Bionic Commandos in that opening salvo. Go ahead, Sean. We've got Resident Evil 5 over there.
Yeah. So the problem with Resident Evil 5 is that it took Resident Evil 4 is like the game, right? And Resident Evil 5 tried to come back and do more of that, but also in a problematic setting, and just didn't like hit the good parts as well. So I'm thinking, when you think about Resident Evil 5, what can you even like try to salvage? And it is basically just explosives, chainsaws, and my key memory of the game is just playing. It's they did the other good thing they did was the co-op, and all I can remember about this game is spamming the button where you would call to your partner and just be a constant series of Shova, Chris. That's really all you can keep about that game. That and the chainsaws, and like what you can do with that is pretty minimal. But I think you could try to salvage it. It's probably going to be a mix of some kind of keeping the mercenaries mode and a text adventure, with like with read off dialogue, because of course you got to get those original voice actors in, and it's going to be just a lot of that over and over and over and over, which is great and like has a story of the power of friendship. But none of the other story matters. You can't really depict anything else that's happening. Maybe the mercenaries mode will be good, but probably not, because that's the kind of thing we're going with, and it's definitely not going to be as good as 4, and it's going to be so close to that. They're going to release this within the year, and all you're going to be able to think about is Resident Evil 4, and those two names being shouted over and over in your ears.
All right, Cicero, Bionic Commando Rearmed and Reloaded, remake to the remake. Go ahead.
So this game is going to be Capcom's very first VR game. So one of the things that you have to remember about Bionic Commando was, first it was like a side-scrolling game, and then the NES title was different from that because of memory limitations. But then when they came out with the remaster, it was more of a side-scrolling game, kind of like the arcade 2D side-scroller. But this is now going to enter the 3D world, but it's going to enter the virtual world. And the great thing about Bionic Commando, and the unique thing about Bionic Commando, was that he had this robot grappling hook, and he would shoot his grappling hook out and swing on to other things. So you're going to, in VR, shoot up this grappling hook and swing onto things. So you'll be swinging in the air, and I'm sure it won't make anyone sick. This game is going to be great and unique as a VR game, because it's probably about a 25 or 26 hour game, with very few save points. I think this game will be great.
Question, Cicero.
Yes.
Will you keep the final boss as the leader? The final boss, he resembled Adolf Hitler, but he was called the leader.
Yeah, I think they will probably change who that person is,
Okay.
but keep the same energy.
Okay. All right.
They'll find a new leader.
Sean, over to you.
I don't know. I think that you're downplaying Capcom's abilities here, Cicero. This is definitely not going to be their first VR game. Again, Resident Evil 4, right there, and they did phenomenal things with the VR aspects of that. So I think you're underselling them. And also, with a lot of people do hear remake of a remake of a remake and get dread in their hearts, but I can see, especially with how long it's been since the latest remake, I think they've just had time to figure out what is actually the core to their series over there, and what they can do to make it better in the VR setting. I think that Capcom would be able to take that idea and make it really blossom in a way they haven't been able to before. I see it as like a cause for hope, unlike Resident Evil 5, which not a lot to hope for. And also, again, anything that it could be good about it is in the shadow of something great that just came out right now.
I like it. Taking points and saying Cicero's game is going to be a good game instead of one of the worst. Cicero, go ahead.
Well, I mean, Sean did a great job of reminding me of just how great their game is. In fact, because Resident Evil 4 is so great, Resident Evil 5, while you may be unsure of its abilities, I think the sales numbers will disagree with you. I think people will buy Resident Evil 5. People will play it. And even if it's not great, they will be convinced it's them and not the game, because Resident Evil 4 was so great that they will, maybe it was me, I need to play it again. I need to get somebody else's opinion. And they'll all get together, and in retrospect, they'll say, hey, you know what? Yeah, this game is good. I see what they were trying to do. I get it now. RE5 is brilliant.
Okay. Sean, you're gonna this last salvo here, this ending dialogue, is gonna be only talking down your own game, because that's the point of the question anyway. Why is Resident Evil 5 remake going to be so terrible?
All right, I'm just going to take what Cicero just said there, actually, because that whole cycle should have happened the first time Resident Evil 5 came out, and it did not. The same thing I'm describing that will happen with the new Resident Evil 5 happened before, except this time it will be worse because they're going to try to take stuff out like they should be trying to take stuff out. I think you might be right about the fact that people will go back, maybe question themselves, because like there's no way they could have done this twice in a row and end up having to replay this game again and talk about their friends. But I see that as like continuing the terrible experience. Like if it's that bad of a game and you're replaying it again, that doesn't suddenly make it a good experience. That just means that you're like descending into another, time frame in hell.
All right, Cicero, go ahead. Same thing.
Well,
can you give me the title again? I want to make sure I got it right.
It's Bionic Commando Rearmed and Reloaded.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and and that actually should be gamers' first hint that maybe this isn't the game for you, when you can feel the title in your eyeballs as you're playing in VR, that maybe this wasn't a good idea. But you will have several of those opportunities during the course of this game. So in fact, this game is insidious, because there are going to be plenty of times where the art style is going to be beautiful. The world is going to look so inviting, but then the movements are going to be so kinetic that you will either be a wizard in this and just like transform yourself into living in that world forever, or you're going to get sick very, very quickly. It is going to be a dizzying experience that is built to weed out the weak. It is going to be a game unlike anything anyone has ever seen. Bionic Commando rearmed and reloaded.
All right. Now, if our fans are listening still, if you back it up, close your eyes, that's probably the sound effect it's going to have in VR to your eardrums when you boot it up. Right. Cicero's just going to be screaming that. Yes. Wow. So I think the hardest hit here that I kept track of was Cicero said after Resident Evil 4 doing so well, they're going to expect Resident Evil 5 to be at that same bar. So I feel like even though it's a cheap win because the VR and sick elements that it's going to portray, I think that Bionic Commando rearmed and reloaded wins for being simply unplayable for most because it is so bad. That's another point for Cicero.
I did it. I'm sorry, everyone's eardrums.
Like I said, close your eyes and
that's committing to the
segment.
bit, you know,
you'll be in the game before it even comes out. All right.
Yeah.
On to the third debate.
Still that I'll sue you.
This will be a fun one. So I don't know if you guys saw this a while back, maybe like earlier this month. There was an Oreo themed Xbox Series X console that you could win. You can look at the pictures up there. I've got a link in our little outline, or look it up for fans, because it is our contestants' job to pick a junk food item that should make a themed PS5 counterpart. This is junk food only for a PS5 lookalike games console. Sean, the ball's still in your court. Would you like to go first or second on this one?
I'll go first. I'm just gonna keep going with cursed images here. I think, you know, I really liked the controller design of the Xbox One, of the Oreo Xbox, but looking at the console itself, it already reminded me of a PS5. What with like the clamshell situation happening, and I think the way to strike that Sony strikes back is they take a similar snack, and show that they can do it so much better and worse at the same time, and take the EL Fudge Elf Witch, which is basically an Oreo, what with different colors and chocolate in the middle and an elf carved into the cookie. And I think that would just be beautiful to see. One, the clamshell thing can happen the same but better, because Sony's better at making, you know, just artful designs like that with their consoles. And two, you can get that beautiful elf slapped over everything.
Okay. All right. Cicero, go ahead.
You know, I was trying to stick within the white and black themes of the PS5 already.
Sean went white and brown.
But yeah, but I realized, you know what? I do need to venture out, and instead of talking about a white chocolate Kit Kat, instead we're going to have a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. And Reese's Peanut Butter Cups are beautifully decadent pieces of chocolate with peanut butter in the middle with a little cookie, of which you will see in the corner of the top of the PS5, you'll see a bite taken out of it, so the color will be different. So you'll see some of the orange, you'll see some of the peanut butter, and you'll see some of the cookie. But then on the PS5 controller, you'll see one deconstructed. It'll actually be cut in half. So On one side, you'll have the chocolate of the PS5 controller on the PS5 controller, and then on the other half of the controller, you'll see the peanut butter and the cookie, and then chocolate at the bottom. So that will be the way the color gradiates on the controller itself.
All right. Sean, elf wishes. Are they double stuffed or just regular?
I mean, you've seen a PS5. It's double stuffed.
Okay.
Yeah, come on. So I think, Cicero was talking about how like the black and white is the PS5 thing. I think one of the core strengths of the Elf Witch is that you bring in different colors that can suit different types of home styles. Like the black and white hits a very key like modern design for like interior design, but I think we can like with the Elf Witch colors with the like brown and tans, you can fit more of like a hardwood aesthetic in your house, and then you look close and you just have like this feeling of like maybe something being a little bit wrong, and you take a look and like, hey, there's like basically an elf on the shelf on your PS5, but it's there to like keep you on your toes, keep you happy, remind that there's someone out there looking out for you. And then you look at your controller, and there's again that soothing mix of like cookie colors happening, and then what's that also slept on there? It's the Papa himself, the Keebler daddy that's there going like, hey, good job with your game, probably doing a thumbs up, being like, hey, yeah, are you winning, son? Just on your controller. Everyone needs that in their life, just like ready at hand and available, and Sony's going to provide it.
All right. I like it. Cicero, go ahead. Why the Reese's and not the Keebler factory?
Because there's so much going on there, right? And you do want it to be, yes, you want it to be a talk piece, right? When your friends come over and they look at your PS5 console, but you don't want it to be a distraction. So you got some trees and the EL fudge, and the Keebler elf daddy is going around giving everybody thumbs up, right? Like that's a lot. That's a lot of look at me, right? The Reese's peanut butter cup is just a peanut butter cup, and it's just there, and you have the wrapper undone, so it's just there to present itself, and maybe you'll have a little bite, and you'll be able to see the artistic flair of the little bite on the console, and then you look at the controller, and the controller is also themed as well, and there you go. That's it. And people can talk about it and say, "Oh, that's dope. I love that." And then you go back to playing PS5, which is why they were there in the first place.
All right. One last back and forth, and that's it. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah. I was saying like the like elf, at least on the PS5, was going to be like subtle. Like it was going to be like barely like a little like etched into there, just for only you. But then you started trying to like as if making a statement piece with your console is a problem. And I think I'm going to go hard in actually the opposite direction and think about the one of the critiques I had the most about Nintendo around, like especially around the why am I forgetting the name? The console with the gamepad, with the Wii U. One of my problems with the Wii U is that Nintendo is too eager to like get out of your way and be like, oh, I'm sorry, you want to use the TV for something else? Oh no, I'm sorry, we can have you on our little gamepad here. No, Sony's going to stake it and say gaming's important, and we're going to be a fixture in your life. You should be proud of what you have displayed here. And you know what? Having something that is, maybe a little more eye-catching than maybe it quote unquote should be is a positive here. I'm not ashamed.
All right, Cicero, go ahead. Final rebuttal.
That's wonderful that you're not ashamed. But I can take this chocolate peanut butter thing to kids who have peanut butter allergies, and now they can play PS5 and play with a peanut butter controller and feel like the other kids. Saving lives with the PS5 because it's a Reese's peanut butter cup. We can do this. We have the tools, we have the talent, we have the technology, and we love the people.
That's a good vision. I like that dream. All right, Sean, you won this hands down. I feel like the PS5 is an.
I almost cried at Cicero's speech right there.
Yeah.
But
the
thank
PS5
you.
is by itself an art piece, and Cicero, no one's looking at the PS5 when they game. Okay, they're not going to be distracted by the PS5 or the controller when they game. You don't look at it while you're gaming. You're looking at the screen. But as a standpoint of this is mine, I got this, I want to show it off, which the PS5 is that by itself. So seeing the Keebler Elf standing up as a Elf Fudge double stuff on your display, it works. And I think it would work really well because even the shape of the cookie would match the PS5 pretty well. So, Sean, that's a point for you.
Great.
On to the blind fight. The famous blind fight here of the week was sent in by a fan of the show and has been on the show before a couple times.
Friend of the show.
Yeah, this is from Mike from an undisclosed location in Wisconsin.
Oh.
Oh. Hi, Mike.
Yeah, say hi to Mike. So just say if you do
happy belated birthday to Mike's mom.
Yeah.
Her birthday was the 16th. Happy belated birthday.
Yeah. Just showing that if you write in, we'll be able to put your blind fight in here or suggestions in here as well. So he asks, having just beat Resident Evil 2 Remake, it's clear that it's one of the greatest games of all time that mix two genres together. Survival horror and Metrovania. So what two genres work best together is his question. Cicero, the ball's in your court, having lost that last debate. Would you like to go first or second on this one?
What two genres go best together?
Yes, in a video game.
Okay. I will go second. Sorry, Sean.
Okay.
Oh no, that's fine. There's an answer here, and it's roguelike roguelike deck builders. Done.
Okay. Back to you, Cicero.
All right. Well, then I guess I will go with action RPGs. That's the real answer.
Okay. Sean, why roguelike deck builders? And why is that the best combination of games genres?
It's the best combination because they complement each other so well. And like just the like fact, just like the idea of them sparked like a billion games in like the course of a year. Deck builders are fun because you get to be strategic. You can throw cards into a lot of different things. As like it's a great just mechanic to have, which is why it's been like cards and dice have been like the game mechanic for millennia. And the part that makes it so well with roguelikes is that the thing about deck builders is that you want to like experience all the different varieties of deck that there are. Like it can be fun to be able to like, you know, make a good build and stay with that for a long time, which again you can do in that genre, but you always want to go back and see like, hey, what was the other side like? The same thing can be applied to a lot of different like RPG spaces, and anytime you make a character, the deck is basically your character, except you want to do it there's a little bit more incentive to go back and see like, hey, what if I like did this draw? Was this luck or was this intelligence? Was there a way to make my builds better somehow, whether it's for like whatever kind of genre, whatever the deck is for, whether it's fighting or social or like a social ability, yada yada. You want to go back and be able to re-experience that, and you want that like that luck thing whenever you have cards involved, and the roguelike aspect of that is just for experimentation and luck and seeing like different experiences over and over again.
All right, Cicero. action RPG.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously the action RPG genre is the best combination of genres because there used to be old school action games, and you'd randomly gain an ability, or you'd have time limits on different abilities, and then they would end. But when you start adding RPG elements to it, where you can unlock and you have choices about the different types of powers that you have and the way that you're able to exploit them within the world, it gives you control over the game experience that you are currently having. And that's something that gamers didn't have until the action RPG came around. And now it is the default that games have this. Without action RPGs, you wouldn't have games like Destiny. So, action RPG.
All right, Sean, go ahead.
Yeah, I think there's a lot in common with like the RPG and the deck builder. With like like I already said, that like the deck is kind of like the character that you're creating over this thing. I think that my combo, the roguelike deck builder, works a little bit better just because the way to keep track of this like customization aspect that the like stats or the cards give in our respective genres, the cards are like not literally, but also kind of, and like in your mind, maybe a little bit more literally, like more tangible, like ways of how you are altering your game space each time you take it. I think sometimes like action RPGs get a little bit in the weeds of like how do you implement, how do you like implement, I'm not going to be rude and say slap on RPG elements onto the action, but like often when you get things like that, you get like incremental upgrades that don't actually like feel that great. You do like a small percentage of extra damage, which is hard to tell whether that's useful or if you even have access to another ability, whether you want to do that. Whereas with like deck builders, especially in the roguelike genre, you can it's more clear of when something is going to be helpful to you, and then you can experiment with it and retry it even if you happen to be wrong about it.
All right, Cicero.
I understand what Sean's trying to say there, but there are games that have like elemental damage in them, and you can take a particular weapon and you can add elemental damage to that, and that makes that weapon particularly strong against certain characters, and you can use that as a way to differentiate yourself and make yourself more valuable to your companions, or if it's a single player game, to yourself in different situations. Those are the types of things that action RPGs add to games. I do understand exactly what you're saying. There are plenty of games that are out there that is just a percentage, like, oh, okay, if you add this rune to it, you get plus 3%, bludgeoning damage, blah, 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 blah. But, I understand that, but you understand that very well also because you know that the cards in your roguelike and the deck builders are going to have those types of stats as well. So I do get it. But that is a fault that we both share.
Okay. Sean, you went first that time, so this will be the last back and forth. I'm going to give you 2 sentences for this one. One to buff and one to break. Okay?
Okay. Yeah, we both share that thing of what we were just talking about with the potential like upsides and downsides. But I maintain that the card system, having it spaced into cards, makes it easier to comprehend and harder to like mess up. On the other side of things, though, there's nothing. A roguelike deck builder can be an action RPG. The isn't really true. Roguelike deck builders have a broader scope of things they can do. There's a semicolon somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Believe it.
Cicero, one to buff and one to break.
All right. Action RPGs can be first person, third person, anything in between, top down, and so many different permutations. So to say that it can't be a roguelike is not true. And then one to break. Cards are cute and are descriptive, but there's nothing like actually seeing your weapon being used after it's been imbued with the powers that you gave it.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Cicero,
Yes.
you're talking customizability. That's a big word. You're talking RPG elements that allow you to customize your character to your liking and then continue on the game with that creative, unique character or item.
Mm-hmm.
Sean, you have a smaller scope in things when it comes to deck building, right? But you are able to go back and try new things way quicker instead of creating a whole new character and do that separately. I think Cicero wins this argument. I think Cicero wins. I feel like the scope matters most. Action RPG is a huge, huge range of different things that can take place in it, as well as they coincide very well together. So, Cicero, that's 3 points to Sean's 1. That is a victory for you. Would you guys like to do the Metacritic for fun?
Yeah, why not? Let's go. I'm with it.
It's Cicero's day. He gets to pick.
There you go. Yes.
For fun?
You know what? That's the next Call of Duty event. Cicero Day. Let's do
Right.
it.
Cicero Day. That just passed. It was my birthday.
Father's Day.
March 19th.
Yeah, right.
Also Father's Day.
Also
All right.
Father's Day.
All right. For the Metacritic, just for funsies tonight, Cicero, you did win. Would you like to say something before the Metacritic or after? Or you just want to put an icing on the cake by winning the Metacritic?
I'll say thanks to Sean for being Sean.
Okay.
What a loser.
You're always a winner to me, baby.
All right. So the Metacritic that I chose for this evening is a Game Boy Advanced game.
Okay.
And it is The Legend of Spyro: A New Beginning.
Whoa.
Very old game. Not too old, but
no.
Cicero, since
It's
you
like
won,
98.
No, not that old.
No, if it's GB, it has to be later than that.
Yeah. I'll tell you the date afterwards.
Okay.
Cicero, do you have a number?
I do now.
Okay, Sean, you ready?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Scream out your numbers on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, go.
72.
56.
Sean, what was yours?
56.
The correct answer is 44. Cicero, you would have lost the Metacritic score game.
Whoa,
again.
Wow.
Yeah, It is a
Wow.
terrible, terrible game. It was also on the PS2, released October 10th, 2006 for the Game Boy Advance.
Mm,
All right.
yeah.
That is our Test Your Might section for the week.
Whoa.
Fun stuff. On to our news segment. Here we go. We got a lot of interesting stuff. I put this first one in here because I had one of these cards growing up when I used to play Magic the Gathering. I do not anymore.
Really?
Yes, I do not anymore. But apparently, the Magic the Gathering Black Lotus had a record sale over this past week at $511,000 and $100 on top of that. That is insane for a single card. The Black Lotus, it is known, even back when I had it, it was known it was a rare card, but I had no idea that it would sell for this.
No,
I don't even know where it went, honestly.
I thought it sold for $540 this time. It sold for $540 this time. It sold in 2021 for $511.
You are correct. Yep, I'm reading wrong. That's what reading does, and my flustered of not having it anymore does. 540,000 is the current price that just sold. Record breaking. How do you guys feel about that? A single card.
Well, they as they said in the article, it's a piece of art, right? You can't use it in tournaments. Mm-hmm. You're not going to play with it in your regular game with your friends, right? Like, it's not going to be part of your deck. It's going to be displayed like a piece of art. Mm-hmm. And it's going to appreciate as a piece of art, which is like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I understand conceptually how things become valuable in those areas, but like, this still, like, it kind of breaks my brain that a Magic the Gathering card is worth over $500,000.
John, how do you feel about it?
I mean, kind of the same. I don't, like, again, conceptually, I get it, but it's just so much money to throw around for nothing. It's so small too. Like, it's not like small art can't be art, but it's like, even for displaying, you gotta get right up in there.
Let's say it reminds me of the first edition Charizards that are floating around as well. Right, same kind of thing.
Yeah. You know what I wonder, honestly, is who's the artist that is the art of this art, right?
Oh.
And how are they being compensated? How are they being recognized for the art that is art? Right? Like, that's the story.
Jeez. I don't know. Is he getting a cut?
Rush, it looks like, maybe.
Or is he making extra
and the
copies?
Probably not.
Right.
I mean, definitely not making money off the extra sales, but also I doubt making much money off of
right.
He might have a like copy of his own. I'm sure that artists of cards get a copy of their art at least firsthand before they are released,
Sure. I happen to know ironically enough, I happen to know a couple of people who have drawn iconic things for games that we play and know and celebrate and laud annually, and they're nowhere close to being compensated or lauded for the thing that they do or have done.
Definitely not $500,000 worth.
Oh well, yeah, no.
Oh yeah,
no. It's not even $500,000 worth. So,
all right. Well, on to the next story. This excites me. The Hyperkin, who's known for making like modern consoles, controllers and stuff, kind of like secondhand console controllers, is coming out with an Xbox 360 style Xbox Series controller. That's a mouthful. So this is going to be inspired by the Xbox 360 controller that a lot of people loved, and it's going to come out for $50, I believe, later this year. Excited for this one, guys? A 360 controller back in your hands?
Well, for the art of it, sure. But like these controllers have gotten better, right? And I don't think that I'd want to go back to playing on a 360 controller. It's not even like, it's not radically different like the Duke, right? When they brought the Duke controller back, that was cool to play on because you're like, this is ridiculous, right? Like how do you do this?
Still a great controller.
Right. The 360 controller is a good controller. But the Xbox One and then the Series controller is, an iteration on that. They're so much better. They're so much better controllers than the 360 controller was, while the 360 controller was similar to those but just worse. So I wouldn't want to play on it.
So you want it for the art, like of having it as a controller?
For $50. I get one, or if it was on sale or something like that for $30, I definitely get one and take it out the box and look at it or whatever.
How about you, Sean?
I'm same exact place as Cicero. I was even gonna bring up the original Xbox. Like, if you're gonna do this, you gotta go back. Big is beautiful, bold is beautiful. If you want the art of it, get the original Xbox controller.
Which the same company sells for $89.99. But that would be a sale for sure. I'm excited. I enjoyed the 360 controller a lot. So for $50, it's okay.
Yeah,
it's cheap.
Right. But would you prefer it to your Series controller or your Xbox One controller?
Probably not. I would much rather see the Duke come down to $50.
Right.
And I would grab that for $50. Just as you guys said. I just, the ergonomics of the new Series controllers are so perfect. I don't see why we need to backpedal on it. But as an art piece, as like hey, look what I got, $50. Right. That's a good deal. Right. All right. Our last story is about Nintendo Switch Online. Kind of shadow dropping in the middle of the night some games to their online service. Burger Time Deluxe, Side Pocket, and Xevious. I think that's how you pronounce that. 3 games. 2 of them are sitting at the Game Boy library. Or no. There's actually 4 games. There's 4 games. Sorry. Burger Time Deluxe, Kirby Dream Land 2 for the Game Boy, and then Side Pocket for the SNES and Xevious for the NES. You guys remember playing any of these? I of course, Burger Time, right?
I remember playing the original Burger Time. And yeah, actually. And Xevious, I definitely played. I didn't play Kirby's Dream Land 2, but could have.
How about you, Sean? Any fond memories of these 4?
Haven't played them. I had heard of Kirby. That's about it.
Yeah, I'm down to try Burger Time. I played the original as well. I don't have any idea what Xevious or Side Pocket is. I've seen video and it looks like a billiard game for Side Pocket.
Yeah.
Okay.
Xevious is an old school shooter.
Okay.
Right. So it's just
like a scrolly shooter, like moving up or something.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. 1942.
I played Kirby's Dream Land, the original, so why not try the second one? It does have a hamster on the cover, so that's something. Well, yeah, that's our news section for the week. It's a little bit dry, but fun to talk about. On to our gaming draft of the week. This is going to be the category of top games that need to come to Nintendo Switch Online, GB or GBA. So this is the games you want to see that haven't been announced, come and need to come. Not so much these games that no one's heard of or some people have heard of, like we just spoke about, but games that would make the service better and people would want to get it for. Cicero, you won the debate section. What order would you like this to go?
I'm going to say you, Justin, then me, then Sean.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go right out the gate and jump on Pokemon Pinball for the Game Boy Color. The original Pokemon Pinball. that does not take like other Pokemon games off the list. That's just Pokemon Pinball. And then Cicero.
I'm going to go with Dragon Warrior 1 and 2.
Is that GB or GB Color or GBA?
That's I think it's Game Boy Color.
You said
it was
Warrior?
Game Boy Color. Yeah, Dragon Warrior 1 and 2 was released on Game Boy Color. But the original ones were not.
I recently beat the first one on the NES. Sean, over to you.
You got me shook by taking Pokemon Pinball. I thought I was totally safe with my picks until then.
Oh no, I love that game so much.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the Pokemon trading card game.
That one's already announced.
Is it?
Yeah, that one's
I
already
didn't
announced.
look it up. Wait, where was it announced? I just looked up the library and it
It's
wasn't
like
on
on
there.
future games to debut on. It's
When's
towards
that
the end,
coming?
when
Damn.
they first announced it. I can put it on there, but there's going to be an asterisk next to it. That would be kind of a
No,
loss of
it's
effect.
fine. I don't need it. Pokemon Green.
We all need it. Okay.
Nope, don't need it. I need Pokemon Green. That's what I want.
All right.
I should collect these things better.
I'm gonna come out of left field and say Grand Theft Auto 2. For the Game Boy Color. This is Bird's Eye View GTA. One of the classics. Cicero.
You almost got me. I got scared because I'm picking Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars for the GBA.
Okay. Can I change my answer?
Oh, wait a minute. Was it on the GBA? No, it was on the DS.
Uh-oh.
It was on the DS. Yeah, so I can't pick that.
You almost scared me.
Yeah, I can't pick that. All right. What am I going to switch to?
I can go to Sean and then do a snake back to you.
Sure.
Okay. Sean, go ahead.
Obviously we've got Pokemon Puzzle League on the N64 side, but not everyone can pay for the expansion pass. So I think we need Pokemon Puzzle Challenge and the free version.
Okay. Cicero, your two last picks.
All right. So is Dr. Wario already on Switch?
I don't know. I don't know about that one.
I don't think so. Oh, suddenly you don't know. Okay, Joseph.
I keep track of the Pokemon games, okay? I'm ready for the Pokemon games to pop off.
No, it's not.
Dr. Wario?
No, not so. Yeah, so Dr. Wario.
Okay.
Dr. Wario. And I'm going to go with Dr. Wario World. We're going all in on the Warriors.
Okay. Just like you did last week in the debates.
That's right.
Is it world or worlds, plural?
Singular world.
Okay. All right. My last pick here is Mario Golf Advanced Tour for the GBA. Because some people can't pay for the Nintendo Switch Plus for the N64 version. So here you go. Here it is in the Game Boy Advance section. And then, Sean, you got one more. Another Pokemon?
Absolutely another what? Pokemon Stadium 2. Get some integration with the new bank system. Done deal.
That's N64.
What? You're right. I lied. I want Emerald. I don't know what I was thinking. Getting too excited.
Just to let you know, Pokemon Stadium was announced. I believe the second one as well was announced to be coming.
Great.
I think.
Good.
Don't quote me on that. I know the first one is for sure.
Look, it's not on this other list I've looked, but it's okay. Doesn't matter. No one enrolled.
I give up on that. All right.
So, all right, wait a minute. Hold on 1 second. So I just realized that Dr. Wario was a minigame in WarioWare. So I'm going to change my first Wario answer to WarioWare and my second Wario answer to Dr. Mario, which is the title of that second game.
Do you want to edit that yourself?
I mean, Dr. Mario World.
I'll start reading and you edit that yourself so I get to it. All right. So our gaming draft of the week, top games that need to come to Nintendo Switch Online, Game Boy or Game Boy Advance program. For Sean, Pokemon Green, Pokemon Puzzle Challenge, and Pokemon Emerald. For myself, Pokemon Pinball, GTA 2, and Mario Golf Advance Tour. For Cicero, Dragon Warrior 1+2, WarioWare, and Dr. Mario.
World.
Waiting on the last word.
Got out of the world.
If you want to decide who won that section, down in the comments, if you still understand what's going on. Again, this has been Test Your Might episode 111. Cicero, our winner of the night.
Palindrome.
Palindrome. Yeah, technically. Yeah. It's 111. I get it.
Yes.
Sean, are you offline now until next year? Or you got anywhere?
Yeah, I'm off until next year, unless, some kind of spontaneous charity event happens. Like it does some years. I'm out.
Cicero, we never plug you. You're on a lot of things. Get your plug out. Go ahead.
Oh, all right. Well, hey, if you guys love video game stuff, you should keep watching this show and listening to this show. If you like Star Trek things, you can listen to me talk about Star Trek things on the Discovery Debrief podcast, where we talk about those types of things. Next week's show will have a friend of this show, Ryan McCaffrey, on. So if you're a fan of IGN stuff, and me on IGN stuff, then you can see Ryan on Star Trek stuff. It's going to be awesome. Worlds collide. Also, if you just like hearing me say random things about pop culture stuff, you can check me out on The Incomparable, on Twitter at The Incomparable. It's The Incomparable Podcast Network. We do lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of pop culture stuff, reviews. It's almost like I'm cheating on What the Fun with The Incomparable, but I'm not. We all understand each other and everything is great. So check out the stuff that I do when I'm not doing the stuff that I do here.
And that's Stubby Stan.
That is me, Stubby Stan, on all social media platforms.
And this is Test Your Might, episode 111, the palindrome. For Cicero, for Sean, and for the duck, I'll be back. See you next week. And I hope you guys enjoyed yourself. See ya.
Peace.
Polyamory.
Okay.
Yeah.
And cut.